What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is the Positively Awesome Wrestling Podcast. It is yours truly, the Drip King, Jimmy Baby, and I am joined, as always, by the Holy Trinity. We got Tidy to the right of me. How you doing, Tidy? How you been this week, buddy?
I've been good, man. Work. I sweat at the gym. I watched the wrestling. Now I'm podcasting.
Good to know. And then Albert, right below us. Albert, how you been? How you been enjoying the week, buddy?
You know, actually, the exact same as Tidy, except for the whole gym part. I skipped that whole thing, and instead of doing that, I just sat on my couch and watched a little bit more wrestling and edited some, stuff for my channel. So,
hey man,
maybe
lifting those chips to that lip, that's a workout. That's
true.
Biceps right there.
I'm jacked because of that.
This, your brain power, all that, y'all, you're working all that out. So it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Looking good, guys. Thank you, babe. Thank you, babe. It is you who is looking good, though. See y'all tonight. So I think she posted that earlier. She will be here soon, I'm sure. Before we get started, I will just go ahead and get this out of the way now. Last week, we had the rematch over on Wrestling Legion between myself and the captain. I was promoting the show at the end. I got a little bit carried away. I want to just go ahead and apologize for my comments. That, again, I went a little overboard, and I do apologize. I was just very excited about the promotion, and I shouldn't have said the 6-month stuff. So, again, Captain, if he's watching, I apologize. And to anybody who is watching, I apologize for those. Completely overboard. But it's done. I've apologized to him. I'm apologizing now. We've moved on, and we had ourselves a great booking thing. If you didn't watch it, it's long, but I promise you it's worth it because we did some really, really, really fun stuff. Unfortunately, another tie. It was another tie. He won the booking, the main booking part. He won. He edged me out by just a little bit, and then overall, I edged him out by just a little bit. So we will be doing the rubber match, if that's what we're calling it. I'm not sure. I won the first show, and then I won the second show, technically. But they're calling it a tie. We're doing the rubber match November 18th. That's when we're going to be doing it. We will be booking. We're not rebooking anything. Jimmy got the book this time. He got to pick. We will be booking some Survivor Series 2023. We're going to be booking it against WWE's, which, from the looks of it, might be a task, but it's a task I'm ready for. I'm almost done with the lead up to the show already. That's how excited I am about it. And I will say it might be my masterpiece. But that's for another day. We're going to go on to the show. And today's show, sure, meet some gummy bears. Tonight's show, we are going to start off, like last week, with our Positively Awesome Wrestling Top 5. Thank you. And this week, we'll be talking about Rhea Ripley is number one. That's right. She is the number one women's wrestler in the world. If you don't believe me, go look at the PWI list. And if you don't listen to the PWI list, I don't blame you. They're usually pretty bonkers. This one, though, I personally think that got right. That's just me. I think these guys agree with me. We're about to find out, though, as we jump into this list. And there she goes. She's here. Boom. Called it. So, with that, you know how these things go. Let me find them. Boom. Why Rhea Ripley is the number one female wrestler in the world. Now, before we even get into the list, do we agree with that in this very moment today that Rhea Ripley is the number one female wrestler in the world?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. We're all in agreement so far. Number one. So I said number one, but we're starting with number 5. She was number 1 on our Jade Cargill list. Why? Because she is that good. I think Albert was with me on this. I think we looked to see her over Charlotte, like a lot of people wanted to. Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. I know that's a lot on number 1 on a lot of people's list, but people are gonna. This isn't. It's a legit reason to us. Listen, this list is kayfabe. It's not legit anything like that. We're just having fun with it. But she was the number 1 on Jade Cargill's list for a reason, because she is so badass right now.
I mean, they're just polar opposite. That's like,
Yeah.
it's similar in size, but they couldn't be more different in personality. It's going to be just a natural feud for the two of them. It's going to be, oh man, I can't wait. I can't wait.
And Tidy, I'll ask you this question. Based on what you know about the two, who would you think is better, Jade Cargill or Rhea Ripley?
Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. That's why this is our number 5. But on to the rest of the list, which will be more serious, I promise you. On to the seriousness. Number 4, she's Mami. You're going to act like this ain't serious. You're going to act like this ain't serious, but it definitely is. Go ahead and tell me a hotter act in professional wrestling right now than Dom and Rhea. Albert, do you have one?
I'm drawing a blank.
Tidy, do you have one?
A little blank as well.
I would have accepted the bloodline. I know a lot of people are like, it's done for. And it's not done for. But straight up, she's part of literally the hottest act. 1-2 punch right now with her and Dom.
Yeah.
And the reason it works, we all know how much I love Dom. Dirty Dom is the man. It doesn't work as effective as it does without Rhea Ripley, though. Straight up. She's the glue that holds that whole thing together and makes it just so fantastic. So again, it might have seemed like it was a funny thing to add to this list, but no, it's legit. Promise you. Anybody else want to add to the Mami part of this list?
There hasn't been, a top male female act in a really long time, and really it's a lot of people talk about it giving the Eddie and China vibes, because that's kind of what they started going off of in the beginning of it, but it's kind of turned into that. Dom has got as Dom has been able to develop a personality behind the scenes, like away from being in the center of the ring where he's such a heat magnet that you can't hear him talk. When he's doing this backstage stuff, he's building a character, and Rhea's character is just been solidified throughout this entire process. They're an amazing act together. Their personalities are what drives these people to want to see them. It's not just how good they are in the ring, because remember, no one liked the way Dom was in the ring. Everybody respected Rhea, but everybody didn't talk about that first and foremost when they came to Rhea. It's always been her character work, and she's drawing people in now. This has been the best pairing WWE has had in years.
I'm literally drawing a blank as the last pairing, male-female pairing they've had that I was like, this works. This works this good. I honestly can't think of one.
That means it probably wasn't as good as or as memorable as this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All the stuff that I'm thinking was like Attitude Era, like Triple H and Stephanie,
the fact
Eddie
that we're
and China.
comparing this to Triple H and Stephanie tells you how freaking awesome it is.
Right.
That was amazing.
I mean, Triple H and Stephanie, Eddie and China, like those are the two best pro wrestling pairings in the world, and this is right up there.
And just to add to it, we live in a completely different era where we know about people's personal life a little bit more now. We know that Rhea Ripley is engaged to another wrestler, and it still doesn't matter. We still view Rhea and Dom as a couple. We're like, oh yeah, that's right, she is with Buddy Murphy, whatever one you want to call him. But we don't think about that because it works so damn well. And again, she's the glue that holds it together and makes it work. So that's why number 4 is she's Mami, because Mami is on top. You saw the t-shirts. You saw the t-shirts.
Similarly to Eddie and China, we knew they weren't together in real life either.
Yeah, it just worked.
Yeah, when it works, it works.
Poppy would be the number 1. Poppy would be on top. But she's flipped it to where Mami's on top, and it's become a thing, and that is something different and awesome, and it just speaks to her in general. And like over the time, I would say over the last the year, especially after she beat Charlotte, it just became more convincing and more convincing and more convincing, to where now I cannot deny it that she's next to Roman Reigns, that is the biggest superstars they got.
So Tidy didn't even realize what he was doing there, but he just gave us the greatest segue in the world for number 3. She is a believable leader. She's not just the leader of Judgment Day. She is a believable leader of Judgment Day. And I've said this a few times. I still have not had anyone give me an answer to it. I don't think there's ever been a faction in wrestling where a woman was the leader. Correct? I'm still waiting for an answer. So I'm just going to assume there hasn't been.
I say it all the time. There's only one I can think of, and that was the York Foundation with Alexandra York. But she was a manager. She wasn't a wrestling member of the faction.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what you're talking about. So
it
doesn't count.
was like mid 90s WCW, like before, like right around the time where they were like getting. Oh yeah. It's nothing that anybody remembers.
So
it was during a very ill-fated Rock and Roll Express Ricky Morton heel turn, the greatest babyface in the history of the world. They decided to turn heel. That shows you how successful it was. So yeah,
so
that's how deep I had to dig into my bag to find something.
So since Edge got the boot, there's been no leader of Judgment Day. They've clearly been stating that time and time again. There is no leader in Judgment Day. There's no leader. And honestly, for the longest time, it didn't feel like there was. But over the last, I think, 3 or 4 months, Rhea's kind of slowly started to assert herself. And she's the most, like, I won't go too far into it because that's our number 2. But I believe it. I believe it. When she's sitting there telling them what to do, I'm like, yo, they better listen. Like, for real. They better listen.
If they know better, they better listen. Yeah.
Dom, he's just like, yeah, whatever you say. I'm good. Finn, he's like a cool with it.
He's the bottom. He already knows. They're playing this act perfectly. I love it. I freaking love it.
And I think the only person who kind of like pushes back sometimes is Damian Priest. And he's bigger, but he still always falls in line anyway. Rhea Ripley's the one that's in the back doing the whole business deal. She's over there talking with Drew about something.
Talking to Heyman?
Yeah, she was doing the stuff with Heyman. It wasn't Finn. It wasn't Priest. It was Rhea. So, and we talked about it too before. Who was it that when she returned, it was Rhea that helped Judgment Day just get going. Dom joined and then it took off, but it wasn't really doing anything with Finn and Priest there for a minute when Rhea was gone. The second she came back, that thing went. Shoo. So, in kayfabe, she's literally took in an act that was dead in the water and turned it into an act that we look at that could rival the Bloodline as far as interesting. And it dominates the TV for a reason. People can complain online about it all the time. They're putting it on TV so much for a reason. People are tuning in to watch it. So I'm blown away by how believable she is as the leader.
I agree.
It's crazy. And for the people who complain about, the women not getting treated with respect or anything like that, that's one of the most respectful things I've ever seen. They said, we're going to make a female the leader of these bad boys right here. And she kicks ass. So that's number 3, a believable leader of the Judgment Day. Number 2, she looks the part. You can't tell you if she's walking through the airport, what would you think her profession was, Tidy?
Some kind of superstar or wrestler. Since I know wrestling, if I didn't know wrestling, I would be like, this person's a star. Or
she's
they
dangerous.
He's like a wrestler, an actor, or a fighter. Like, that's it.
She's buff. She's big. She's got that emo look. I mean, that's somebody you would actually stare at for a second.
Yeah, she's something.
Yeah.
And that's a big part in wrestling that I think people kind of lose sight of sometimes. There's lots of wrestlers who are really good at wrestling. And I hate to pick on him right now because he's uber talented. He's just the first one that popped in my head. Mike Bailey is Mike Bailey, right?
Speedball?
Yes. Speedball. Okay. So he is a fantastic wrestler. He's fantastic of doing moves and all other stuff. Fantastic. Man, I'm not scared of that guy. If I see him, I'm not scared of him. I'm sorry. It's just, even like back in the day, I'm not going to bring up that guy, but I can't think of many back in the day that I saw that even with their small stature and I don't even want to say dull look. They all look like badasses.
Crash Holly, maybe, if you're really scraping for somebody, but Crash was jacked.
And on top of that, he wasn't looked at as a badass either, though. He was kind of like a comedy act. But still, my point is, like, when you look at her, she is a real deal. Like, you don't mess with her. You just don't. And that's a big part of it, especially with the PWI list. This isn't Wrestlers of the Year where your skill is involved. It's the overall, the booking, the look for your skill in the ring for sure, your resume, which arguably she has the #1 women's wrestling match of the year on her resume. So there's literally nothing stopping her from being on the top of this list.
Yeah. And talking about her looking the part, think of it this way: a lot of WWE females have a very distinct kind of a look. We've seen that Bayley's played with hers over the years to kind of keep herself fresh, but for the most part, Charlotte has always been, robes, sparkles. Like that's been Charlotte. There's been, Bianca's come in and she's added some edge to herself by making her own gear. She's created a unique look for herself because she's literally creating her own look. And Jade is just on another level of stardom in terms of, like adapting her look to change it, at pay-per-views, doing this cosplay stuff because she knows that she has that sort of appeal. And then you have, someone like Becky, who was always like a little bit more grungy, like everybody has like their own signature look. Rhea is like nothing we've seen before. She's her own self. She's her own person. She's her own look. She's her own everything. She is exactly what you want. You look at her and you think that woman right there is a superstar. I want whatever she's doing. I want to see her do it.
So real quick, is there another women's wrestler that you look at that looks more physically intimidating than Rhea Ripley? Tidy, you go first.
I wouldn't say more physically, but Shayna Baszler, when I look at Shayna Baszler, especially Shayna Baszler in NXT, it's the overall presentation in the package and how she just tries to put your ass to sleep very quickly and put you in a damn crossbar, etc.
We know she's a badass.
Yeah, real badass.
Yeah, we know. Yeah.
I mean, but this is again NXT. Raquel, when she was Big Mommy Cool, very intimidating, very badass. And Zoe had a bit of that edge when Zoe was there because there was no other badasses at the time in NXT before she got called up. But nothing. Yeah, shit. Still, that's a hard one. I would say Baszler would be the only other one I would look at. Like that's a total badass right there.
Awesome
If you didn't know that Baszler was a badass, though, if you didn't know she had the UFC background and the jiu-jitsu and all the other stuff, would you look at her and say she is more physically intimidating than Rhea, though?
No.
Okay, that's kind of what I was going at. And then Albert,
Awesome Kong. That's the only other one I can think of.
Though. I'm still intimidated by Baszler. I just, you know what I mean? Like that's Godzilla. And
yeah, for sure. For sure.
He's huge. Baszler's still huge.
Yeah. He said Awesome Kong. That's one I didn't even think of. I thought of two, and one was clearly Jade Cargill. She just looks like please don't hurt me. And then Jordan Grace. It would be the other one that goes on that list. She is a very physically, but I don't think either of them are more physically like intimidating than Rhea Ripley. I just don't. That woman would scare the living shit out of me if she was like, give me your lunch money. Take it. It's all yours. Just please don't hurt me. Which
obviously China as well. We have to throw China on that list too if we're going all time. Because if China came up with all those muscles and she told me she was going to beat the crap out of me, I'd
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. Yeah, we were even just talking about China. I didn't bring it up. Man, shame on me. But now with the #1, which goes hand in hand with what we were just talking about. Look at these segues. They're so fantastic tonight. You're standing in the ring with Rhea Ripley, Tidy. Are you going to tell her she isn't #1?
Hell no, I ain't telling her that.
Me either. What about you, Albert? Are you going to tell her?
I would bow down. Shit. I'll just
I'd be like, nah, they made the right choice. Bye.
If there was a higher number they could have gave you, Rhea, I think they should have done that too. I'm with you. Like straight up. I'll be honest. I was expecting to see a little bit more blowback for this than I did. I really didn't see many people arguing with it, which was kind of crazy. I don't know if I'm just following the right people though. But
I think, look, here's the thing: 99.9% of the time that these lists come out, the problem is with the same segment, but it's with the same subsection of fans. It's the pro AEW, pro WWE fans.
I would say it's just the anti WWE.
Well, yeah, okay, that's fair. But
Yeah.
primarily, I'm trying to figure out a good way to put this without making it perverted. Anyway, um, it's a pissing contest between two fan bases. That's how they view this, right? It's our wrestler was number one, not your wrestler. Your wrestler wasn't number one. I think that there wasn't anybody in AEW that could even come close to compare to where Rhea has been this whole year. I think there hasn't been a women's match in AEW that's come close to what Rhea's done this year. I think that she has been the best wrestler of the entire year. She's a part of one of the. You want to say? I'd say the best act in wrestling right now, because you can't say the Bloodline, because there are no female acts in the Bloodline. So she's a part of the best act featuring a female in pro wrestling right now. She's on. I mean, she's in the main event of almost every single Raw. If she's not in the main event, she's opening the show. She's been put in a prominent position because she gets eyes to the program. And I say this all the time. There are people in other professions that I hear all the time. People tell me, oh, they don't know wrestling, but these people know Rhea Ripley. She's got appeal to a whole different demographic that people don't even realize at this point. She's going to be a major star. She's everything that you want in a woman superstar right now.
Well, and I'll say this real quick. As far as AW talent, I would say Toni Storm would probably be the number one female from there that would have went up against her as the number one. And I think I don't know how to pronounce her name. I think it's Gia, the one from Stardom, I believe. She was number 2 on the list.
Julia, whatever. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So again, I don't watch her, so I don't really know.
Same.
I've seen some of her matches. I know she's fantastic. And when Wrestler of the Year comes out, I have no question. There's no doubt in my mind that she's going to be number one. No doubt, because she is that damn good. I think Athena would be another one that I guess you could probably give that nod to. Again, I haven't seen enough of her, so I can't make the argument.
So the only thing, I agree with you on the Toni Storm part. The only thing I disagree, the only reason why I say Rhea still is that this whole Toni Storm gimmick that's really started has been over the last 3 months, maybe.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I'm saying the only one that could come close to making the argument. But
but she's been phenomenal.
What up, Scotty? Good to see you, man. Thank you for joining. He said what? Who you saying what to? Call us out. Yeah, those would be the 3 I put, I guess, to compete against. But again, Toni Storm, like you just said, that's kind of come on late, and the PWI list covers earlier in the year.
Way earlier, yeah.
Year of 2023, it covers from July to June or whatever. And then Athena's had such a good year that even with me not watching her or knowing anything, I know that she's been a big deal. She's been that good. So I do want to give her the shout out because I know that. And then the Julia Gia, again, I can't remember I can't pronounce the name, and I apologize, but I don't watch her, so I'm free on that. I shouldn't get punished for it.
My thing about Athena is that Athena has very much proven that she is very capable of being a very capable number one on a smaller level promotion. I think that AEW needs to give her a bigger platform.
Yeah, I've been surprised that I didn't see much of Dynamite this past week, so I don't know. I thought she had said something about going on Dynamite, but I don't know if I'm assuming she didn't make it on Dynamite. But yeah, they definitely should be getting her on there more, 100%. If she's been that big of a deal, yes. I know I cut you off there, Tidy, and I apologize. I wanted to get that out there, but if you had it still in your head, spit it out, bud.
Well, a lot of this doesn't really mean anything if you don't have contenders, because for me to be a wrestling enthusiast, I need to see some contention. There's some people that she can battle, and it happened on Monday Night Raw. Besides her just looking at Becky in the face, and it didn't bug Rhea one bit. She looked the damn part in front of the man, and that's impressive. And then Becky's like, "Oh, Becky 2 belts," and I'm still thinking, "Yeah, good luck beating Rhea." Not on the roll she's on right now. I would not swap that belt off her if I was in charge of this company. Not anytime soon.
Nope.
But the contenders that Shayna, there's Shayna Baszler, there's Raquel's around. Zoe even looked on top at Raw when she kicked everybody out. Nia Jax, and then she just looked at Becky, and I'm like, man, this has got me excited about what
Yeah.
Rhea can contend with. So she's playing the part with the rest of the roles too, man. She's just integrated.
Now, shout one more name before we move on to the next part of the show. Unfortunately, she got injured, so it derailed her completely. But I feel like Jamie Hayter, if she not got injured, she might be one that had a chance to take over Rhea. Probably not, but Jamie Hayter was killing it, and she was fantastic. What's that? Hopefully, it's awesome. Hopefully, are you just tired of her because she's constantly on the show? Because I can see why some people would be getting tired of that, but not me. I love Judgment Day. I love it so much. I love it so much that I got a North American title ring to celebrate my man Dirty Dom. That's how much I love Judgment Day. Got the purple do-rag or bandana right here. I'm Judgment Day through and through. But yeah, Hayter is amazing. I hate it for that she didn't get that Wembley match.
Yeah,
she got derailed and everything. Because she could honestly have been in the contention for Wrestler of the Year and the women's too at the end of the year. She's just that good. But we'll now move on from that, and we will move into our favorite moments of the week. That's where we talk about our personal favorite moments from the entire week of wrestling. And I'm going to let Albert go first here. Albert, tell them what it is.
So I want to give a subsection, a 1B to my 1A, because I know that my choice is going to be a little bit erratic, but I want to give AEW a shout out for having a Battle Royal main event Dynamite. I love that. Give me more Battle Royals. One thing I love about AEW, they give me a lot of Battle Royals. I'm a Battle Royal guy. They constantly give me Battle Royals. And this was a good one, too. Juice Robinson winning the Battle Royal. He's going to go on and face MJF for the title. It's going to soften him up. The idea. I'm sorry, not for the title, but the Dynamite Diamond Ring, which will try to soften him up for Switchblade. I've been loving Bullet Club Gold. I think that their act has been phenomenal. I love Cardblade. I love everything that they're doing over there. So I just want to shout out AEW real quick. I know that sometimes when we speak about AEW, sometimes we get a little negative because it seems like, it's easy to accentuate.
Negative. I feel like it's very highly critical.
Yes, critical is a better word. Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's negative.
So I wanted to shout them out. But really, my favorite thing was, man, we got, exactly. We got general managers for Raw and SmackDown again. And that makes me happy because it's been a really long time since we've had a general. I mean, Adam Pearce has been doing a great job by himself, but we know he's answering to a board of directors. I like the idea that it seems like these guys are going to be the ones who are making the decisions for those shows. I love that. I need authority figures back on television. I think it creates an element that it's hard to replicate without having that. It's hard to just have a floating head as being somebody, be that manager or, that general manager or whatever. I prefer there being somebody there. It reminds me of the old school versions of, having, Stephanie and Teddy Long and stuff like that. And, Vicky Guerrero and Eric Bischoff. And, I like that. And it looks like it's going to also make Survivor Series a lot better. If there's going to be some sort of brand supremacy, they have literal leaders. And, I like that we got Nick Aldis. He doesn't take any crap. He kicks not just Jey Uso, but Jey Uso and Adam Pearce out of his building. Exactly. It's just perfect. A perfect start so we can really see good stories being told. I like anything that's going to make better stories. I think this is a very good step in the right direction.
What I like what they've done with Nick Aldis so far is they've basically said, we know that a lot of people aren't going to know who he is. That's why they didn't give him an entrance. They just brought him into the ring, said, our new Nick Aldis. And I saw a few people be like, oh, but who is he? They know that people aren't going to really know who he is. He's not a talent, so it's not like they need to hype him up or anything. They're like, this is the guy. We're going to let him show you what he can do with the role that he's been given. And that first thing, man, he did Dom dirty as hell that first night, but it was great because, and Dom, this is how great Dom is at what he does with the whole, is they put him in there with Nick Aldis so that Nick Aldis can hit him with that one-liner and people will be like, pop. This guy is awesome. He just put down that boy we all hate. We love it. Then, 2 ex-NWA champions of the GMs. That's awesome. Yeah. And then this week, like you said, kicking them out, and what was he saying on Twitter? They said he's power hungry. He goes, I like to. I think I prefer the term restoring order or something like that. Like I like his character.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. When I first saw him in TNA back in the day, I don't remember what his name was. It wasn't Nick Aldis.
Brutus Magnus.
Yes, I did not like him at all. And it wasn't like I don't like his character. It's like I don't like him. The whole thing. Don't like him at all. Never watched him in NWA. I've seen him wrestle, but I don't know much about him. But man, he in 2 weeks, I'm like, I like his style. What he's doing with this role, I like it. I think it's great. And if he was doing that before, I apologize. I never saw it. I just didn't see it. And it is what it is. But that's great. And I'm just going to go ahead and jump in second because it goes right and hand in hand with mine. First, you did 1A, 1B. I'm going to do 1A, 1B. I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for this, but I'm going to do it anyway. You talked about a floating head. This is my first 1A as far as my favorite things from this past week in wrestling. It's been building up for a few weeks now, but we're going to share it today. This is amazing. I played the end of it. My bad. I wasn't. Very nice. Very nice. Very, very, very. Very evil. Yes, hello, it's I, Danhausen. Clock's still ticking, but don't worry. Everyone will be cursed soon enough. Well, there we go. Sorry, I play it. I don't know if I'm getting in trouble for it, but it's amazing. And it's perfect. It's from Halloween 3, in case anybody didn't know. One of the most underrated horror movies in the history of the world. And he said he's been teasing when he's returning. So clearly he's returning during Halloween, which I think is on a Sunday. I can't remember. Let me look at the calendar.
Tuesday, yeah.
Tuesday.
So that means he'll return on the Dynamite after. That's my assumption right there. But for 3 weeks, he's been playing these, and I love it. I love it so much.
Love that Danhausen.
That shit is great.
On top of that, I just found this today. And I've been cursing literally every animal in the house with it. Cursed. I love it. I love it. I'm waiting for him to come back. I'm very excited about it. But with my real one, 1B, I am going with where'd it go? Actually, no, I changed mine up because you did that. Cameron Grimes and Dragon Lee look like a tag team that's been together for 10 years. That's the chemistry these boys had. I was blown away. They did the one where it was like he did the I can't remember, the drop toe hold into like I can't remember what it was, but I remember when I saw it, I was like, dude, that's insane.
To a knee lift.
That's what it was.
Yeah, it was a drop toe hold and Grimes hit him with a knee lift.
I was like, that had to have hurt. Didn't they kept going? But then they ended up doing like 4 more moves together, and it's the first time they've ever tagged together, as far as I know. No one's brought up anything history they've had. I don't think they've ever wrestled together in NXT. Did they, Tidy?
They're related.
No.
Are they?
I don't remember them wrestling each other.
No, they're not.
They're both a part of the great Lee family wrestling clan. You know, Cameron Grimes used to compete as Trevor Lee, and there's Dragon Lee. So they're a part of the.
Mute. Hey, I'm not falling for that nonsense. He got me with it. So I was like, really? They're related? Man, get out of here with that shit. They're related like the Bray Wyatt family was related, man. Get out of here.
It's that Lee family lineage.
But Dragon Lee came in after Grimes left, right, Tidy?
Yeah.
So yeah, they've never wrestled together. And dude, they look like they'd been a tag team forever. They had more chemistry than most other teams in WWE have. That was nuts. It was fast. It was great. Put the titles on. Not right now. Let it build up. But
that's Cameron Grimes' style. Fast.
Yeah.
Like he can do fast as good as anybody. So perfect match together.
Absolutely. They need to leave them together. Because once you start letting Cameron Grimes show that personality that he has on the main roster, people are going to love him. They're going to love him. He's fantastic. And Dragon Lee already won him over in his match against Dom a few weeks ago, where they were just like, yo, this guy's amazing. So there we go. They've never worked together before.
There you go. So there's only one place for that team to go, and that's to the moon.
Yeah, baby. I'm excited for him. And the tag division that I've been like, there's not enough teams to have 2 titles. Leave them together. They're kind of starting to show me that maybe they are cooking up something there, and I'm eating my words because a Dragon League Cameron Grimes tag team is of champions on SmackDown. Give it to me. Give it to me.
Sounds like fun to me.
Yeah, for sure. And I wanted to give him that shout out because I was blown away. It might have been, I won't say that. I think it was my favorite match of the week, even though it was real quick. I was just that blown away by it. I think I was taken by surprise a little bit. I know they're all talented, but just the chemistry. I was like, man, this is nuts. So it might have been my favorite match of the week.
Ironically, it's the one that caught my girlfriend's attention the most. She, I had SmackDown on. I didn't get to watch it Friday night. I watched it Saturday morning, and she came out and she got sucked into that one.
Yeah, it was good.
So they were quick, hard hitting. It was fun. It was a good match.
Dragon League.
But we need contenders.
Yeah,
for Pretty Deadly. That's what we really need. Pretty Deadly are the greatest things ever.
Hey,
yes.
They've been the greatest things ever since NXT UK. They are freaking the bomb.
Yeah. 3 very young teams on SmackDown with Pretty Deadly, Austin Theory, Grayson. I guess Grayson Waller isn't that young, but he's still relatively young. Austin Theory is very young. And then now Cameron Grimes and Dragon Lee, both very young. That's awesome.
I thought the Rolling Brutes are kind of young too. I don't think either of them are super duper old.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. Man, the tag division on SmackDown is about to be awesome.
That's what I'm saying. And we still have the Street Profits, and we still have the LWO. Like so I'm saying that tag division can absolutely cook. They need to take the tag titles, put them on the other show, and let that tag division, flourish a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm okay with Judgment Day doing their thing though. So when they won,
sure.
I know a lot of people were upset. I wasn't. I want to see turmoil.
Not me
Jay,
either, baby.
With everything else, and that
I
allows
love
the Bloodline to come down there and mess around on SmackDown. I mean,
Okay.
the Judgment Day.
Okay, all right.
That's perfect.
So Ridge has the 35. Same issue that Waller has. He's 30. He's in his mid 30s, but I don't think there's a lot of miles on those guys. So, no, I think Dunn's 29, but he has a lot of miles on him. But he's still awesome. So I'm not gonna shit on him.
Love it. Love it, man.
Here we go. Let's do this real quick. What would their tag team name be? And then we'll go over to Tidy's favorite moment of the week. I honestly don't know. I'm just gonna say something really stupid. Don't laugh at me. No, I'm not even gonna say it. It's that bad. I don't even know. I was about to say something like Dragon Moon or Moon Dragon, some stupid.
I was trying to think of something in that realm too, but it wasn't working. Yeah,
I can't think of anything. I want to see their personality together before I pick a name. How about that? That's what I think we need to do because we don't know what they're gonna. We don't know the cohesion they're gonna. We don't even know if they're gonna put them together again. What a
High Energy 2.0.
What is it?
High Energy 2.0. The new rockers.
Brothers. There you go, the Lee brothers.
There you go, the Lee family.
You leave them alone. Stop that right now.
That one's all tight. That's all Albert's fault, man. I'm sorry. But now, got to put that up. I'm lacking at the producer end here. Let's go over to Tidy. He told us what it was earlier. So this is Tidy redeeming himself for last week when he basically he upset Sami Zayn so very much with his thing last week. So he's here to redeem himself this week. What is it this week, Tidy?
Sami Zayn telling the world in the premiere, kicking off Raw, that he is heavyweight championship level superstar. Like that meant everything to me that he got to come out and just say that. But and then the thing with Drew and the thing with how it just reiterated it through the show, it gave me hope again that Sami Zayn could start fighting for a title. Ever since Kevin Owens said it live, like, man, I've known it for years, and I've been telling you, you're the best wrestler in the world. And it just reminded me of all the whole bloodline stuff we saw, everything, Elimination Chamber, Royal Rumble, how much I wanted Sami to get that nod to be a top-level heavyweight champion. So I love how he opened it up. That he knew for years that he could stand on his own 2 feet and show the world something that he's known inside for years and years, that he is a top level. So I'm like, that blew my mind that they let him open and say that. And then in conjunction, part 1B, man, Seth and Drew, man, talk about getting me invested. The
Oh
thing,
my goodness.
the
Yes.
parallels, like Drew's telling Sammy, you think I can relate to you, or you think you can relate. The thing is, you can't relate because you've never been a world champion. And to
I've
see
never hated
Sammy's
Drew
face
more in my
turn,
life.
like, okay, you're gonna say that. Great way to, oh man, spur on the Sammy fans. But like the things that they're telling Drew is just from a perspective, it's just correct. Like, you need to get over it. You need to get over the bloodline. And then he's like, hey, man, I know where you've been. I did it for 4 years. And Drew's like, you can't relate to me. He's like, no, dude, I did this for 4 years, trying to scrape myself back up and become into that title scene. I mean, yeah, you know, Seth, we thought his time was with Roman. Didn't happen. You know, so to see Seth cook him the way he did, but yet it brings Drew some humanity. There's something there. Drew can't get over something. And even when he's talking to Sammy, he's like, well, this thing with Jay, he's like, man, I'm gonna give it the same advice he told you, man. You need to get over that. Like, literally get over that. So I love seeing those butt heads, and Drew looks more human now, even though it is kind of pissing me off that he can't see it, but he's playing that part well. I'm loving it. I want to see Drew win, honestly. I do.
For sure.
But to see the way Seth put him in his place, man, that was so good. It's like, all right, the best thing I'm gonna do for you is actually beat you. So now, no more excuses. You will only be able to blame yourself.
Yeah.
No,
So,
that was gold.
With this real quick, Drew, I think we've all been on the idea that Drew needed to be healed for a while. I think holding off might actually have been a great idea because now we're really ready for it. But I don't even think he's a heel now. I think of him more as like an anti-hero because he's not doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
He's just like, I'm not putting up with y'all shit anymore. Like, he ain't doing anything heelish. Like when he went to cheat against who was it a few weeks ago? The Miz. Like, he did the turnbuckle thing. He's like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just playing with him at this point. And then I don't think he's done anything heelish to this point. Not helping someone isn't being a heel. That's just not my problem.
Right.
That's kind of, as a kid, when I was like, if I was a wrestler, that's kind of how I always was like, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna help people. They can kiss my butt. Not my problem.
I'm not a bad guy. I just like Stone Cold Steve Austin was the same way. If Austin walked by and saw a babyface getting the crap kicked out of him, Austin would just go, huh, and laugh and walk away. He wouldn't care. And that's where I think that's why Drew is interesting. And, you know, Scotty, I think you're right in a way. I think that we were all on that train for over a while, like Jimmy was saying, but I don't think they need it anymore. I think we're at a point where Drew doesn't need to be a heel. Drew can keep this character going because at the end of the day, he just wants vindication, and he wants everybody to believe and understand that he's correct. And he's not wrong. He's not saying anything that's incorrect. He's not saying anything that's heelish. He's just being honest. Hey, you know what? These guys beat the crap out of me forever, and I'm just supposed to let this guy walk back in and be like, hey, you're my friend now? No. You know what? I don't want to deal with it anymore, and I want to kick his face off because I still hate his guts because everybody talks about it. What did we talk about? Before there was Sami Zayn, there was Clash at the Castle. And everybody said that's where it has to end. Drew's got to win the title in front of fans there. That's his moment. That should have been his moment. That's what all the fans said, right? So why wouldn't he still feel that way? We're still talking about it. Why wouldn't Drew still be thinking about it?
Well, exactly.
It's perfect.
And he got rid of that stupid sword. So good on him.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Drew. Leave it in the garage, dude. Don't even bring that out.
Leave Angela at the house. We don't want her anymore. Or whatever the sword's name was.
How he told Seth, well, I'm gonna beat you. You have to go reinvent yourself for the 53rd time. That was some bullshit, man. And then there was some really good digs there. I mean, even the dig on Sammy. I'm liking this, Drew. And even if he does turn heel later, at least you have these misperspectives that he needs to get right in his head. He did talk to Rhea in the back. He was talking to Rhea in the back. So I love how they put that in there. That's like 3 major spots for Drew in a night. Technically, no, that's 4. Just the fact that they showed the picture of him talking in the back with Rhea. I mean, I'm really happy for where they could go. Maybe in a couple months, there'll be something that tips him over. But I think it's just right the way it is right now. There's no reason to rush it. It should feel natural. I
hope they incorporate when they're trying to get their survivors team up, because we know Sammy, Cody, and Jay are going to be on a team. Like we assume at this point, we don't know. they could just pull the rug out from under us. But it's definitely looking like those three are going to be on one side of this thing. I would love for them to go ask Drew, like, hey, you got issues with these guys, and him be like, you know what? You guys told me to get over it. So that's what I did. Go find somebody else. I would love him to do that.
I'm over it. I don't care anymore.
Right now, with the way things have been kind of happening on the shows and how they're incorporating multiple levels of things, I don't even think that's out of the realm of possibility. And that's what I'm loving the most about the shows right now, is that they utilize those kind of things. They don't just move on from it and like, done. Let's move on to something else. They're like, no, this was a part of the story. Let's use it. And you got Drew facing Sammy, so that's going to be part of that as well. Like, it's so good. Like, I'm so excited they started the Survivor Series build right now, because there's only 3 weeks between Crown Jewel and Survivor Series. And I don't think they could. So I don't think they could really get everything in those 3 weeks. It would kind of just be, even though on the booking that we're doing on November 18th over on Wrestling Legion, I did fit it in 3 weeks. It's a little bit clustered, but I'm also not doing 3 whole shows either. So I'm just doing bits and pieces. I think it would be very hard, though, to build it up the way it needs to be done. So planting the seeds now for things has been fantastic. That was my original one, is that they started the build for Survivor Series. But yeah, the Seth Drew thing, what I love the most is I thought Drew got Seth. I was like, damn, he done got him. Got him. And then Seth came back. I was like, that's my guy. That's what I'm talking about.
And Seth came off looking like a boss who just put someone in this place like, hey, man, here you go. You're wrong. Sit in it. Think about it. You're dead wrong. I love how he put him in his place that way.
Sit in it and stew, Drew. Sit in it and stew, baby.
Stew in the Drew.
And, good on Drew for cutting a promo that's memorable. I think that's one of the things that a lot of people said wasn't in his game, is that he's got a good personality and everything like that, but he's not a good promo guy. This proved everybody wrong. He was held his own with a guy like Seth. He was a master on the mic. This is a great segment for Drew McIntyre. And like Tidy, actually, like you said, this is a great night for Drew McIntyre.
Yeah. And right here, I think is what it was right here. They were just speaking truths. And this is why I think the thing with Drew is working, is he's literally just, I feel like, voicing his own frustrations. Like, if this was a real thing, it's not wrestling and it's all story and not in fake or whatever.
It's funny because that was the Kevin Owens character, only the exact opposite, right?
Yeah.
Calling out the truths of all the the wrestling nonsense that happens. Yeah. Drew is now just like, I'm going to just be honest. I'm telling the story within the story. Like, we all know the story. We're all here every week. I'm just being honest. Kevin Owens was more like, we've watched wrestling for all of our lives. If you don't, you're not allowed to come out and your music can't play if we didn't call you out. That's not the way this works. I think that's the thing. These things resonate with wrestling fans and with casual fans because it's things that we talk about. That's why this gimmick with Drew makes sense, because it's based on something that wrestling fans are still talking about. If you make it real and you make it feel authentic and you make it feel like they're talking the same language as we are on TV, as we are off TV, it just makes it so much easier to digest. And WWE is doing an amazing job at that right now.
I'll say this. I think there are certain people who can do the script stuff and they can make it work 100%. I think they can. I don't think Drew is one of those guys. So he's one of the ones who benefits from this kind of scenario. Kevin Owens, he benefits from this kind of scenario. There's a lot that they can kind of speak from the heart and it just sounds better. Then you have the other ones who they're not so good at it and they need those scripts to do that. And they're good at kind of projecting the feelings and everything from that script to the show. I've always thought that. I know a lot of people are like, you got to let everyone just go out there and do their thing. And I'm like, no. I think some of those people are not ready for that. I love Dom with a passion. Everyone knows this. I'm number one Dom stan in the world. I don't want him going out there trying to cut a promo from the top of his head right now, because I don't think he could do it. I don't think he's really even that good at cutting a promo with a script. He's getting better. He's learning. I think the boos kind of help because they hide the fact that he's not really that good at it. But I don't want him going out there like Drew and Seth and Kevin Owens are doing right now. It wouldn't work for him. You got to go with what works with these people.
There are some people you trust with that safety net.
Yeah. They've had that. There's been a few that have had that opportunity for a while. Kevin Owens has had it for a good minute. But certain talents, exactly. See me. This is me and Nick. We're like two peas in a pod on this. Some need
100%.
it, some don't.
Yeah.
Like you can't give one to MJF and say, read this. That doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So we got 10 extra minutes because we're supposed to have a guest tonight and something came up, so he couldn't join us. He will be joining us next week, though. So with that said, I'm just going to ask a question to fill in these last few minutes so that we get that full hour in because I want to. Tidy, you won't be much help in this, and I apologize.
It's all good.
Maybe you can chime in with any thoughts you have on the subject. I don't know if you'd seen where the MJF wore the devil mask and then him and Adam Cole. I did see the Adam Cole stuff because I remember that. We showed you some of the Adam Cole stuff. And then Adam Cole got hurt. But the end of that episode, and the devil mask, supposed to be MJF, attacked Jay White because MJ White came out and ran his mouth to MJF. And it was the devil mask and I think 3 other guys.
Yes.
Had attacked Jay White to make it look like MJF had done it. And they're like, who is it? Because we know it wasn't MJF. He was way too scrawny. It was definitely Adam Cole in that mask. But now Adam Cole is really injured because the devil mask finally made a return. I think it was on, way too. There was some people being like, it looked like Britt Baker. That's how small the devil mask person was. But they made its return this week on Collision, I believe. I read up on Collision. I didn't watch it. I didn't have time. It's Halloween time. I don't have that much time right now. But I saw a picture of it, and it wasn't the same person. Not even close. So with that said, Albert, I'll ask you, who do you think is behind that devil mask?
So there's been a part of me that's been thinking this whole time that the 3 guys that the guys that it's been has been Adam Cole and the Kingdom throughout the entire thing.
And
that's
Roddy.
that right. And Roddy would obviously, of course, be a part of that. Adam really has to understand that Roddy does not like his PB&Js with the crust on them. That is a ridiculous notion from Adam. I don't understand what he was thinking there. I thought, by the way, everybody hated that.
Sandwich maker.
Everybody hated that. I thought it was hysterical. I don't know. Maybe I'm the out of touch one. I thought it was great.
Easy comedy. I think it's
so
funny.
I thought it was fun. And then people were also kind of like a little bit on the Pretty Deadly the one too. And I was like, that was great. What are you talking about? The Taylor Swift comment in there.
Fantastic. The Brawling Brutes and Pretty Deadly thing.
Yes.
Fuck, I was dying. It was great.
So I hate that when
he's with us. He's a good one. He's a good one.
Thank you, Scotty. By the way, Matt Taven took a full bite out of that sandwich that Roddy spit out. Like, that was in Roddy's mouth. Dude just didn't care.
Man.
Dude,
Hey, this man right here loves Matt Taven so much. He loves him.
That was one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen in my life. But anyway, they have to pivot, right? At this point, they have to pivot.
I think that's why it's been so long since they revisited it.
Right.
And I applaud them for taking their time with it instead of just trying to throw something out like they used to do.
At this point, I don't know. Like I can't I want to like there's a lot of part of me that wants to speculate and kind of think about, okay, naturally here, who can they take from that big ass roster that they have to put in this spot? I mean, the only person that I think makes, not that it even makes sense, but is a big enough that could benefit the most from it is somebody like Swerve, because it would put him into a main event storyline and make him a main event contender.
Man,
and I feel like
Swerve and Jay White feud would be fucking awesome.
Oh my! First of all, on the mic and then in the ring,
yeah, the whole program.
Give me all of that.
Here's my money.
Give me it all. Because Swerve is by far went from being the guy that everybody thought that when Keith Lee and Swerve debuted in AEW, it was Keith Lee's going to be the world champion and Swerve is going to find his role somewhere. And it's been the opposite.
Yeah.
Swerve has been on fire.
I will say I was on record as stating I thought Swerve was going to be one of the absolute best hires they ever made. And I I don't even need to be like, I'm standing on it. It's very clear to this time. He has been one of the best hires they have. Tidy, were you about to say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say NXT when he had his beef with Escobar,
Yeah.
they started doing the hit row thing, and man, it started really taking off. Swerve was not that good at promos. All of a sudden, Swerve starting to kill promos. Him and Escobar's little thing together was like one of the best builds in a match
fantastic.
ever. So when Swerve was gone from NXT, gone from WWE in general, I was just pissed. I was like, that is one of the best talents I've seen, and I don't know how long. And they lost him, man. So yeah, Swerve, wherever he goes, that dude should be a top dude.
So I was so mad because I thought if they fumbled, I'll say it, they fumbled Swerve so much because they didn't do anything with an NXT. Then they were like, all right, let's just throw the North American title on. Let's see what happens. He's got this hit row thing coming. Let's see what can happen. And then he killed it. And then as soon as he won it, they were like, let's do nothing with him again. He never defended his title until he lost it.
Yeah.
And it was like, what are they doing here? Like, it was crazy to me. And then when he got released, like, I'm not worried about him at all. He's going to go to AEW and he's going to flourish because he is different than anything else they have over there. And it's going to show because he's that talented. And it's happened. And yeah, it was damn good. And it was a shame that they didn't do more with him in NXT because we have hindsight, so it sucks, but I think he could have been I don't think he would have got released in WWE had they done something with him earlier in NXT, but they just didn't, and it didn't make sense to me. But Scotty says they should need to draw. With how serious his injury is, I don't think you can, and that's the problem. I'm with you. I wish they could. I really wish they could. I just don't think they could because if he has to do the rehab after the whole, was it 2 surgeries he had to have? And then he has to do the rehab on it. And he said it's the worst injury he's ever had. It's going to take some time. So, absolutely.
Oh,
absolutely. Indie time makes great wrestlers. Look at Cardona. You don't have to like him, but he's made himself made it. Matt Cardona, I don't see much of him wrestling, but I see his stuff online, and he's one of my favorite people to watch online. I watch all the clips of Matt Cardona, all the little promo things he does with Stephanie, everything. He's fantastic. I love
Shit's hilarious. I do watch those.
He's fantastic.
While we're talking about Matt Cardona, I'll say right now, if he's the man in the devil mask because he wants to go collect some belts, I'm all for it. Probably not going to happen.
I'd be okay with that.
But I'd love it. I'd love it so much. Is that Adam? Wore these glasses tonight for Roddy Strong because I was fully ready to say it's Roddy Strong in that mask. I don't think it is, but I think it's someone very close to Roddy and Adam, and we haven't seen him in a while. Kyle,
really?
Because he fits that physique that we
Sure.
saw on Collision. We haven't seen him in a while. There's ties to it all, and you know what? Kyle O'Reilly the matches he had in AEW were amazing. He was a badass. And he was starting to showcase that he could, I don't want to say be a top guy in NXT because I think it was weird. But I think he has it.
Speak from his head too much, and they were not good promos. But man, seeing that guy wrestle.
But I think they were trying to produce him too much, and I don't think Kyle's a guy you can produce. I think you got to let him be. And man, Adam Cole was literally talking about Kyle O'Reilly right before he left. Like, yeah, he's doing good. He's on his way back, and he's just got to get through this and this. Perfect timing. I think it's Kyle O'Reilly teaming up with Roddy and Matt Taven and Mike Bennett, and it's the Kingdom, and that's who it's going to be.
And you know what? And that makes a lot of sense. And here's the thing, like Scotty, I'm with you on the idea that, as being a big Adam Cole fan and this being a spot where we all believe that this is probably Adam's spot. The problem is if you do drag it out until Adam Cole gets better, it's going to be Adam Cole. It becomes too predictable. So I like the idea that that they're going to do this. And if they do it with somebody like Kyle, that's a great choice because it's somebody that has ties to everybody. It makes total sense. And when Adam Cole comes back, there's still a mystery. It's now not just his best friend, Roderick Strong, but it's his best friend, Kyle O'Reilly over there versus his new best friend, MJF. And how many people as Adam Cole, he was in the Kingdom. He was best friends with Roddy in the Undisputed Era. He's best friends with Kyle O'Reilly in the Undisputed Era. Like, how many guys can he turn his back on when he was in groups with him for this new friendship with MJF? There's so much story to tell there. It makes so much sense that it would be Kyle O'Reilly.
There you go. Hey, Adam, you didn't come to Roddy's side when he had problems. You weren't at my side when I had problems, but you're right there with MJF. Yeah, it's right there.
Writes itself.
No. I think that's done sailed. He's not coming back.
Yeah, I think that ship definitely sailed.
My son punked out old Bobby, so he ain't nothing in AEW. But yeah, that's what I think. I think it's Kyle O'Reilly. I think it would be great. I think it would be really good. And another reason the Adam thing can't work is because, again, with it being so long, the deck is starting to stack up against MJF crazy.
Everybody's gunning for him.
Yeah, Kenny Omega, Samoa Joe, Jay White, Wardlow. Man, there's so many. So yeah, I want it to be Adam so much. I got Adam. I got the Adam Cole Bebe tattoo on my leg, man. I want it so bad. It's just I don't think it can happen. It's just terrible timing for him again.
Can't believe that,
man. I was like, it's a fake injury. It's not real. It's not real. I've been fooling myself for weeks. It's not real. And then I saw the New Devil, and I'm like, oh man, it's a real injury. So angry about it. But
and you know, let me tell you something. As a football fan, I'll say this all the time: those non-contact injuries are the worst, right?
Yeah. Oh man, they hurt.
Sucks.
They hurt so bad.
Sucks so bad. That's what takes him out. Jumping off the ramp. That's what does it. Of all things, you know, like sucks.
Yeah. Oh, and then here I'll give this a shout out. Again, I don't watch it, but I'll give it a shout out because a lot of people are excited about it. So that's cool. I'm happy when people are enjoying wrestling. Impact is now TNA once again. I don't know if that's for good or if it's for a one night only. I'm not sure, but people have been very excited about it, and that's cool. I love it when people love wrestling. It's amazing. So with that said, that is our show for the evening. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching, all that good stuff. Real quick question before we go. Halloween is coming up. We're celebrating it this weekend. So with that said, you guys dressing up for Halloween, is anything special? Nobody dresses up. Just me. Just me.
I'm going to a Halloween party technically on the 28th with some family friends. And they're like, oh, it's dress up. I'm like, shit, I got to come up with something. I haven't seen this family in years, and I'm just going to be the one guy that shows up to the Halloween party. I can't do that. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know. I could be the Mad Hatter. I got like 80 hats. I'll just put them all on and just walk in there. I don't know. I'm thinking of dumb shit. I don't know what to do here, man. I'm not intelligent on this level.
I got 4 costumes. That's how excited I am about Halloween, baby. That's why I haven't been able to watch as much wrestling recently, because I'm just very excited about this month.
My girlfriend hates that I'm not a Halloween guy.
He's got 4 different costumes on Halloween day.
And for the people who think I'm just a WWE shill, 2 of my costumes are AEW wrestlers. So kiss my butt. None of them are WWE wrestlers. Kiss my butt even more. I can't wait to showcase the one. It's fantastic. But my main one is going to be Terrifier, because oh my God, I love that shit so much. Oh, I love it so much. But with that, Tidy, do you have anything you'd like to say to the peoples before we say our final goodbyes?
Yeah, I'm going to say what I said a while ago. Logan Paul could be the greatest heel in WWE. Why? Because he's a real life supervillain and people hate him in real life. And we just don't got that. And man, he's trying to talk shit to the most beloved person, I think, backstage, and wrestling fans love Rey Mysterio.
He shook his hand.
Well, I saw Rey didn't want that, man. That was that. I got snot in my hand. I'm forced to shake your hand. He didn't want to shake that hand. Rey knew better. Anyways, it's pissing off Escobar. That is, oh man, that's some really good shit. I'm just going on record. Logan Paul could go down as one of the best heels ever because he's truly hated in real life. You can't.
He's not even the best heel in wrestling right now.
Well, Dom right now. I get it. I get it. But if Logan shows up more and can actually, I don't know, man. That is.
He is very hated.
See him fight Rey. We need a Homelander, and he's our Homelander in real life, man. I don't know.
That's a good shout.
Just saying. I'm shocked that I'm liking him as a
There you
heel.
go.
Damn
He
it, I
hates
should
him.
never do it.
A lot of people hate him. So
Oh
you're
yeah,
not wrong.
everybody hates him.
You're not wrong. People do hate the man.
I hate that dude too. But think if he's fooling us and he's acting like a damn jock from high school that never grew up. He's playing the world and making money off it, man. Bad press is good press. But I think he is a prick though.
But listen, the thing is this:
could be a great heel though.
the guy, everybody calls you an asshole. Why not just lean into it? He's smart.
He got the perfect job for you. There's this
Right.
place called WWE where you could be a real life heel. He's like,
it was
that's my job.
wild that they tried to make him a babyface at first. Like, let's have him turn
Hell
on
no.
Miz and be a good guy. Like, what the?
Yo,
I know that was a Vince call, and I'm sorry. That was dumb. That was very, very, very dumb. Don't ever do some shit like that again. That was just dumb. That was one of the dumbest things I've ever seen, and that's why I'm saying dumb so much. It was very, very dumb. But with that said,
that's all I got to say.
Albert,
Sorry.
Albert, swing it over to you. Anything you would like to say before we go?
So last week was 4 months in a row that I've done the toy room renovation over on my channel. New one is up. There's a new intro this week to go along with the new graphics. Look at that. I'm stepping up my game. So I'm editing up a storm over there. Hoping you guys are enjoying all the new stuff that's over there. So let me know.
Man, his collection is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. People are like, I would like to see your collection, Jimmy. After what? No. I'm not showing my collection off after seeing the shit. His is like Matt Cardona's. It's crazy, man.
It's nowhere near that. It's nice, but it's nowhere near that.
Man, I was like, man, that's wild. I'm like, no, I'm embarrassed at this point. But with that said, myself. Whoop, oh, I'm hitting the wrong buttons. I'm getting ahead of myself. There we go. I hate him as well. Everybody hates him. So,
I know.
Next week, I'm not so sure I'll have a show next week. Now that I thought about it, because I was like, oh, October, it's Halloween weekend. There's a lot of things going on. I have to look at our schedule. I might make something happen because it is a school night, so we will be back in time. I'll just have to look. So with that said, I'll keep everybody updated on the Positively Awesome Wrestling Twitter page, not X page, Twitter page. Just stay tuned to that, and you'll see what we're going to be doing. If not, sorry. I don't know what else to tell you. But wait, no, Crown Jewels next week, isn't it?
No. It's 2 weeks from now. So the weekend.
I thought it was the weekend. It's not this weekend coming up. It's the weekend after.
Yeah, November 4th.
So we would be doing the predictions next week. So if I don't do it Sunday, I'm going to squeeze it in somewhere. I don't know where. I'll figure it out, but I have to do that because I want to talk about it. And
yeah.
And I want to keep the consistency going. So I'm going to try and figure it out if we don't do it on Sunday.
Yeah.
And if you haven't watched it yet and you like fantasy booking, head on over to Wrestling Legion. Myself and the Shipless Captain had ourselves a great booking war. We rebooked Super Brawl 9, 1999. It was really good. Then we rebooked WrestleMania 14, kind of. They didn't like the way we did it, but we did it our way, and damn it, and I enjoyed it. I had Kane destroy The Undertaker. That's how ballsy I am. And then we rebooked Raw 1000, in which I thought we did a phenomenal job working together. It was a much better show than what WWE gave us for Raw 1000. So again, if you like fantasy booking, head on over to Wrestling Legion on YouTube and check it out. I think it's their top video right now, as far as the last one they've done. And with that, that's the show. So thank you guys once again for joining us, and we will be back sometime next week, if not on Sunday. So laters, everybody, and don't forget to just enjoy wrestling right there. Right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.